All right, guys, so we're going to cover renovation. Who in here has not done their first deal? Raise your hand. Holy smokes, that's awesome. Very cool. Who in here has done, I should do this actually. Who in here has done more than 10 houses? Not a lot, that's awesome. More than 5. Cool. All right. And then we got some people still waiting to do their first one. What are some people that have yet to do their first deal? Raise your hand again. Your first fake, your first flip, your first BRRRR, your first whatever. First anything. Raise your hand. All right. What's holding what's holding you back? What do you think is holding you back, Juan?
I'm still learning.
Okay.
I live in New York, so I'm still deciding if I want to invest there. I'd say New York.
New York. Cool. All right. How do you feel about construction? Pennsylvania's brother, sister, what? Yeah. Does the construction part bother you? Does that intimidate you? It doesn't bother you? Okay. That's a good answer. We don't know. All right, that's all right. Well, all right. Well, what I'm going to do is break down. I want to show you guys the steps that I've established and I put together after doing lots of deals, probably well over 100 some deals, that help me take properties that look like this and then turn them into this. Yeah, it's nice, right? I bought that from a wholesaler in the academy. And the funny story was he actually had sold that to somebody else because I didn't want to buy anything at the time. And then that other deal blew up and he's like, remember that house that you said that you liked? And I'm like, yeah, that house that you had under contract with somebody else that I said I liked because I knew it was already sold and I really didn't want to do it. I was just being polite. And he's like, well, the contract blew up and I got to close in like 4 days. Do you want to buy it? And I'm like, I don't hate it, but I guess whatever, I'll buy it. So then I bought it. Yeah, of course. All right, so let's point a couple things out. So look at this, guys. So this is what you're going to realize throughout this training. For me, the biggest thing that I focus on that has made me very successful in investing in real estate is number one, is how can I force the appreciation? Now, somebody asked about that earlier, about forcing appreciation. Now, forcing appreciation works like this. You take something that you received one way. So like, let's just take this bottle of water, right? This bottle of water is an old rundown house. I want to increase this bottle of water's value to say it's $1. Now, I took this house and I'm like, man, how do I increase this house's value? So I have to make it more desirable to more people. Well, just like that, it's not very desirable, right? It's pretty beat up. Everybody in this room would buy this house, but not most normal people. But we're not normal people, right? We're weirdos. We want to buy like weird, crappy houses, right? So how do I force the appreciation and increase the value of that house to make it more desirable? Well, this bottle of water is that house. Well, this is just what I have, right? Like most people just see this as a bottle of water, right? And they see this house as like a nuisance to the world, right? So we have to look at things differently. Now I see this bottle of water and I'm like, man, I want to increase this value. I want to force appreciation. And this bottle of water is just worth $1. Well, one of the ways that I could force appreciation is I can dump out this water and I can fill this thing up with tequila. And this is worth a lot more to somebody as tequila than it is as water, right? Rob's like, I want it, I gotta have it, right? So it's worth a lot more as something else, but it's still the same vessel. Like it's still a bottle, right? It's just what's inside it is different. So I look at these houses the exact same way. I'm like, well, how can I take this house and take what it currently is and then make a few changes to this house and increase the value? And so that's what forcing appreciation is. Now, we want to buy in the right areas, which leads to just natural appreciation, right? We want to buy in these areas where the values are going to go up 3, 5, 7, 8, whatever percent. 8% is pretty aggressive, but, go up in value. So that's one of the ways that we're going to make money. Now, the other way is forcing the appreciation. So now that's what makes this so powerful is we have this vessel this house that we're already buying in the right area. So I'm going to take that upside all day. Now I'm going to say, I want to take this into my own hands. Now, not only am I going to force this appreciation, not only am I going to get the regular appreciation that would happen, now I'm going to make it appreciate even faster. And we'll cover that here in a second. But I never let what the house currently is limit what I want to do to it. So For example, like here you can see these big windows right here. People think I hate windows. And they're right. No. I just like hate some windows. I got in a huge thing about windows. I have a slide in this. I'll show you guys about my personal house. But I don't hate windows. I just hate letting windows decide what I do with spaces. So you walk in and I'm like, man, this would be like a nice big open kitchen, but the windows are too big. So what do? We just buy smaller windows. It's really not that hard of a problem to solve. Like you just buy smaller windows and then you frame and put siding on the outside of the wall. Like it's such a non-issue. It's like when Tico was talking earlier, people are like, what about the health insurance? It's like, well, just go get health insurance. Like, I'm gonna get rid of the windows. What do I do? Just put siding on the outside. It's not that complicated, because does everybody understand that siding the outside of a house is a not complicated thing to do? It's really not that big of a deal, I promise. Then I'll take this house. So some of you guys have been to this house, this one here actually. Who remembers St. James? This was like old and academy days. Has anybody been to this house in Walnut Hills? Man, we got a group of bunch of new people-ish. Who's been to this house? This house is, I bought this house it was 2 doors down from my office. I didn't want to buy it, but it was 2 doors down from my office. Remember this house, Rob? Yeah. So I bought this house for $45,000 only because it was 2 doors down from my office. And I just didn't want somebody else to buy it and make it crappy, because this is my area. This house is located in my North Star. Remember earlier we talked about our North Star, our buy box? I want to control my buy box. I've got 35 or 40-ish houses in a 4th Street area in my buy box. I just don't want to see this house go in the wrong hands and then just turn into like a trap house, or turned into Section 8, or turned into something not desirable for my neighborhood, the neighborhood. So I turned it into this. There it is. Obviously, it had an enclosed porch. It didn't make any sense, so we opened it up. You can't see it on this photo, but there's tile here. The tile looks awesome. It looks so good. I'm doing it at my house, and I can't wait to do it. But yeah, that's it there. Turned out pretty nice. These are the same steps we're gonna follow. This, all right, another window example. So this is one at Purcell. Who remembers this house? Do you guys remember this house? This was 502 Purcell. I think some of you were at this house. I brought them too. So this was the kitchen before. Notice the windows. Okay. After, the windows are gone because I hate windows, right? So it is kind of funny. There is a trend here, but that's okay, right? Do you guys think it looks good like this though, or do you think it looks better like that? You have to say this, or else that's the right answer. No, but you think about it, like what are you looking at? The neighbor's house next door. We're buying in transitional neighborhoods. The guy next door had like 7 cars that broke down and like 6 Rottweilers that just barked constantly. So it's just not like something you want to look at. Vito's like, there's nothing wrong with Rottweilers. I'm like, I know. All right, pit bulls, Rottweilers, whatever. It doesn't matter. All right, this is my house. Now, we're going to talk about some of the phases: plan, demo, plan again. Now, this is my house. This is part of my house. This is our upstairs addition that we did to the house. This is what we had laid out on paper. Our owner suite, full bath here, tub, all this kind of stuff, windows, walk-in closet, and for some reason the furnace was right here, and the door to our room was going to be right here. Well, this is my plan phase. This is what I had when I planned. And then in this case, we didn't demo, we built it brand new. And then we had to go back to plan again. And when we stood in that space, we were like, man, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have this weird dead space here in real life. It didn't make any sense to have a furnace like right next to our bedroom. That made 0 sense. And then it also didn't make a lot of sense to have the bathroom here and then run across the bedroom in front of the door to go to the closet to get dressed. And then we also were like, man, it really didn't make a lot of sense to have tempered glass windows in the front of the shower, as cool as the renderings were. And the things that everybody showed us, they're like, this is this. And we're like, all right, whatever, designer. And then we were like, we hate all of this. Like, it didn't make any sense at all. So I actually don't have the new plans that we laid out. I laid them out at the house. But then we ended up flipping the design. We made this the front door, plan, demo, plan again. We'll get into that. So we made this the door to get in our unit. We framed this in here, right there. We made our bedroom area right here where the bed goes. And then we took this entire side here, and then we made then we made a walk-in closet right here. Oops. And then a nice, really nice, big, huge bathroom up here. So even like even when you're doing stuff from the ground up, as terrible as it is, like when you sit here and plan and you look at these things and you come up with all this, you get in a space and you're just like, this isn't very good. I made a mistake. And I make mistakes and like you feel it and it happens. So what do? You learn from it, you move on, and you live to fight another day. So, we were building this. We just want to build it one time. Like we don't want to go do it again ever. So that's one there. So step number one that we come up with, what you guys are going to see along the way, I'm going to try to remember, but if you guys ever see a camera on the bottom of this stuff, that's just where I get photos. I'm a big fan of getting photos. I love getting lots of photos of all of my properties. That's one thing that's helped me a ton. From my very first property I bought all the way to now, years ago, I would get professional photos of my properties during these different phases. And that has served me very well because the internet loves photos. And now I have lots of photos to show you guys. And I'm always able to reference something with photos. So I think photos are really important, especially when you're building out your portfolio. And at some point, you guys are going to go ask private lenders for money. You're going to ask for whatever. Having photos makes a big difference. People are really visual. It helps them see things. So number one is plan. This is before you close on the property. You look at the property. What is the highest and best use of the property? How can I force the appreciation? How can I increase the value of the property I'm looking at? That's the game, right? Now, I'd look at that. It all works out. Run my numbers, come up with an offer, and we get it accepted, and then we go to close. Now, the next thing I need to do after closing, if there is one thing to take away from this, and there's many, do not ever start work on a house that you do not own, that you have not closed on, okay? It does not matter at all. Don't go in and start ordering windows. Don't go in and just start ripping out cabinets or doing whatever. Like I kind of say like maybe ordering kitchen cabinets is fine if there is a really long lead time, but like windows, like that stuff like belongs to the house right at that point. Anything could happen from contract to close. I've seen it. Like I've had people demo houses that I was wholesaling, and then the title lien came back, and great Aunt Judy's third, fifth cousins from Iowa that moved to Missouri that was dead, that this had a title lien. And you're like, what does that mean? It just means like, we're going to close in like 15 months maybe. Like it's a disaster. So do not ever start work on any property until you own it, until you fully close on it. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Cool. All right. What's the highest and best use? And guys, if you have questions along the way, raise your hand and we can go back and forth however we need to. Plan. Step 2, demo. Demo works like this. My rule for demo is whatever is not staying in the property until the very end goes during the demo phase. Like outlets, wall switches, blinds, fans, everything. Whatever is not going to stay till the very end has to go during the demo phase. We just got to get it out. And part of the reason about that is I don't want my skilled labor doing my demo person's job. And I don't really have time to do my thing about my charts and my contractors. And maybe Mike can talk about it or we can talk about it later. But a quick thing is like not all contractors are created equal. You basically have 3 tiers of contractors. We've got our demo people, the people that will move dirt and break stuff. Like we love them. They're amazing. They're like $20 to $30 an hour guys, right? That's like our demo people. Then step 2, the next like thing above that is like we've got our carpenters, our craftsmen or whatever. Like they're going to be our people that we're going to talk about setting cabinets, doors, trim, the stuff like that, just the kind of carpentry things. And then above that is we have like our skilled people. We have our roofer, HVAC, plumber. We can throw our drywallers in there. And those people earn a higher wage. So I just don't want a task that somebody making $125 an hour to do, that's somebody that makes $25 an hour to do. And they're all equally as important. But when we're building our team out and building our bench out, it's really important to understand that. And also, the people, the higher up the chain of contractors you go, the bigger the diva they are. So the bigger the therapist you have to be when you listen to your plumber complain about your electrician, then complain about your HVAC guy, and then complain, and then you're like, what's happening? Like, will you just put this outlet in so I can get on with my life? And they're like, but first, your HVAC guy sucks. I'm like, yeah, I know, he's the worst. But just do this, please. Yeah, so the next thing is it's true. It's true. I love my guys, but holy smokes. I'm like, dude, actually, yeah, but yeah. All right. Figure out like how you're going to dispose of the waste. Like, are you going to get a container on site? Do you need permits for those containers? Is it a job that's maybe not very big and you can just have somebody with a dump trailer go grab it and throw it all out? Like, what does that look like? What does that look like for getting things in and out? All the stuff you want to plan. And the next thing is keep it clean. Remove the nails and sweep up whenever you're finished. All right. For everybody that's brand new, I want you to understand this. I don't want you to get taken advantage of. When they're demoing, if you guys are gutting it to the studs, when you're doing demo, the nails and the screws are part of demo. A lot of times drywall, like people like to rip out the drywall or rip out plaster, and they just leave 1,000 screws everywhere. Guys, do not pay them until everything is gone, until you can just take your hands down the studs and just smoothly do it, okay? That is part of the demo phase. You do not want your drywallers taking that out because it gives them a reason to complain. And I don't have time to listen to anybody complain unless it's Brandon. He's my favorite. But that's it. I don't want to listen to anybody complain. I just want it nice and clean and ready to go for the next guy, next person. This is also a phase you can kind of see here. That's where the camera is. I also like to get photos after the demo. So I'll get photos before I start, and then I'll get photos after the demo. And it's just really, really important for me to, show the story. I'll share the photos and show all that kind of stuff. Next thing, this is what demo looks like. All this stuff's kind of ripped out. In here, we actually added a window here, believe it or not. We put a big French door in, so that's what we did there. This is a kitchen. All right, then the next thing, plan part 2. Now that everything's out, make sure you have the best plan, highest and best option. Can I move a closet? Can I move the bathroom? Can I open up living room spaces? And make sure whatever you do will increase the value, okay? Really important to make sure whatever it is you do will increase the value. Here's an example. This is a house here where this is 502 per cell, the one with the windows earlier in the kitchen. So this one, I plan on adding a half bath on the first floor because I wanted to have a half bath on the first floor and make it a 3-bed, 1.5 bath. But then we did the demo, and then we realized there's a lot of dead space here when we gutted it out. And I'm like, man, that dead space we could do something with back here. So I'm like, we should make an ensuite. So we took the front part, did a little toilet room in here, vanity, stand-up shower, and then we created an ensuite, and then that allowed us to open up the first floor and make it a lot bigger. Now, in this house, for the particular square footage, I think it was 1,050 square feet. It didn't really need a first floor bathroom. It would have been nice it's like a nice to have, not a need. But this made way more sense in the size of the house to not have to share the bed or share a bathroom with 2 other bedrooms. So that's an example of how we were able to come back in and be like, man, I have a better plan. And it sucks a little bit that it feels like every time I do a plan, I demo, I always have to plan again. I don't understand. I've done so many houses and I'm still swinging and missing sometimes. I just feel like there's always something. I'm like, oh, that could be better. That could be this and whatever. But there it is there. So now there's framing. So we've planned, we demo, we plan again, and the next thing that we want to do is framing. And during the framing phase, this is where we build any walls. We'll add the closets. We'll install some windows at this point. This is part of the framing. We'll work on any kind of thing, anything structural. If the foundation needs work, if you have to replace floor trusses, because at the end of the day, whenever you have to replace subfloor or floor trusses, which I'll show you guys in the next photo, at the end of the day, that's still a carpentry thing. As scary as it might be to have to replace rotting joists, it's really not that big of a deal because a carpenter can do that with a helper. It's not that big of a deal. And then at this time too, this is also when I work on the outside of the house. That's when I start from the roof down and I'll do roof, any kind of siding stuff that I need to do. Just really anything on the outside I got to work on is when I'll work on the outside. I do the gutters at the very end, only gutters and downspouts, only because they just get destroyed. For some reason, your gutters are just super thin pieces of aluminum. And if you put them on too early in this process, your guys don't care about any of the things at your house, I promise you. They'll back into it, they'll dent them, they'll destroy them. I always save downspouts and gutters for the very, very end just because they'll get destroyed. I've done it too many times. I know what happens. It's just how it goes. So framing, you guys can see here, we just got the frame. We got a closet we're adding in here. We're framing this in. You can see this is a new header. See this right here is the header for the window. So we put the new window in. We put all that stuff in there. That's a floor joist. So that was a house on Kerbit that I had. The floor joists were all rotted. So this is the floor joist right here, guys. So they'll go floor joist, and then your subfloor goes up above it. But at the end of the day, this is nothing but wood, right? It's just a little bit bigger than a 2x4. So don't let that scare you. Don't let some contractor come in and go like, oh my God, it's your joist. Be like, cool. So like, what are you gonna charge to fix it? Well, I don't know. I'm like, well, how much do you charge to do a 2x4? Oh, that's $4 a 2x4. Like, all right, so if this is 4 times bigger, how about I'll give you $50 to replace the joist? But like, oh, but then I got a joist hanger, and then I got to get a helper. I'm like, all right, well then, how about an extra $25 for the joist hanger or whatever? But it's really not that big of a deal to replace this stuff. And I've said it like 4 times, but I just want you guys to understand, like, if you get stuck or you feel like a contractor is like talking down to you or just trying to make things seem terrible, just like lean in on the community and be like, Jarius, this is happening. Mike, this is happening. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, this stuff isn't that big of a deal. Like, there's really nothing that's like terrible. I mean, you've seen the houses I do. I've done them all, and a few of them I probably should have never done, but I did, and I learned a lot, but that's okay. So we got our roughing. So you can see here, this is a photo phase. So at this point, we are plan, demo, plan again, framing. I know, it's like brain fart. Framing. Now, think of framing as like the skeleton of the house. So now what we want to do is put the guts in, all right? So these are the guts. These are the rough-in. The rough-in phase is everything and anything behind the walls at this point. This includes our HVAC, plumbing, electric, our insulation, fire caulking, and windows. These 3 things right here, HVAC, plumbing, and electric, these are specialty trades. The people that I want doing this work for me are licensed people that can pull permits on that kind of work.
Question for you. Those 3 things, and Mike can jump in on this too. What's the order that you do it in? There's always a debate.
Great question. All right, so here's the order, and I should actually I have it in pretty decent order. So the question is what order do I do my mechanicals? And my mechanicals are electric, plumbing, and HVAC. There's a great debate, but I'll tell you what should always be last in this order is electric, because electric can move around different things and whatnot. So in my experience, I would like, in a perfect world, for my HVAC to get ran first, then my plumbing, and then my electric to get ran. That's the typical order. Now, does that always happen? Not really. Like, my electrician was available at my house way before my other tradespeople. So I'm like, Oren, go run everything. So he ran it all. And then my plumber came in. Actually, I'll show you guys photos later today. My plumber came in and moved some stuff around and like ran his stuff. And luckily, we still passed our rough-in. And then the HVAC guy came in, and my HVAC guy is like, Donnie's like, man, he ran my electric right where my return was going to be. And I'm like, well, Donnie, nobody knew your return was going to be there because you didn't mark anything, and you also took like 4 weeks to get here. But yeah, in a perfect world, for the order, HVAC, plumbing, and electric. Mike, what do you say?
I like plumbing first.
Okay, plumbing first. Plumbing, HVAC, electric. Basically, whatever's the hardest to physically move should go first, and then the electric can kind of like weave around it. So great question. And now this leads to the next thing, and this is something that has helped me tremendously. This has helped me speed up my renovations, not in 14 days or 10 days, but this has definitely helped me speed up my renovations, is building a deep bench. Now, in the beginning, I would meet people that are like a guy is like, he's like, man, I can do everything. I can do carpet, flooring, drywall, this, that, and he could do everything. And I'm like, dude, this guy's going to change my life. I'm rich. Like, he can do everything. And I'm like, this is the best. And first of all, he's lying. Like, he's just not being honest. There's no way. He can't do everything. Second of all, if he could do everything, do you want one person to push your job when you were trying to scale from 0 to 3, 0 to 30, 0 to whatever? Like, you don't. If that one person gets hit by a bus, you're done. Like, your business is done. Now, that one person might be good at lots of things, could maybe help with like maintenance, or maybe help fill in, or maybe help with a couple things. But to have one person run an entire job is not realistic. And I think about AK, because AK was doing a house up in Canton. And guys, the way I find contractors out of area when I invest is the exact same way I teach you guys. I literally practice what I preach. I eat my own medicine. I take my own medicine. I do all whatever with the medicine, right? I do it the exact same way. And with AK, I was doing the house up in Canton, and I was doing one of my houses up there because I just wanted to get rid of it. I ran the play. I ran this Facebook ads. I did this in Instagram or Craigslist ads, and then found the person, found a bunch of people, interviewed. I found him, and I found this guy named Wood. And Wood is just like, I don't even know. Wood's just like a guy that you would think would like go to like Woodstock. He's just like, you come in, he would just like things, like, you know, just hang out, and you'd be like, all right, Wood, and just listen to music. He liked working by himself. I'm like, all right, whatever. But Wood was really good at like just helping me with some framing things and just like moving things and picking things up and doing stuff. And he helped me do some framing and fix some subfloor. So then AK's like, I need somebody in Canton to help me do my house, to do some framing and some stuff at his house. I'm like, dude, that's the guy. Like, you're here, you just use Wood, you can have him, I'm done with him. I'm paying him $25 an hour or whatever. And Wood went over there and helped him. Then AK posted a photo of him hanging the drywall at that house. And I was like, oh no, like that is a really bad job at drywall. And I'm like, that's not his thing. Like, you've got to find drywallers where that's their thing. But that's just an example of like how one person can be really good at something, but not the person for everything. So you want to build the deepest bench. The best teams out there are the teams that build the deepest bench. And it takes time. We always need to be recruiting. We always need to be adding people to our list. We always need to be building that deep bench because people don't last forever. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Our contractors have a shelf life. And I'm going to kind of run through the series. Like, I'm going to run through a little bit of the contractor thing. And I want Mike to chime in on this too when it comes to contractors. But what's up?
So one lesson that I learned is I was thinking time versus money. So he said that he could do the drywall. So I was in my head, I was thinking I have to wait 3 weeks for a drywaller, right? And planning is also, but I couldn't find drywall that was good drywallers. So all the drywallers were booked 3 to 4 weeks out. So I was thinking, if I save time now, I could do my project faster. But now I know it's okay to wait 2 weeks and not get screwed up with the process. And I will never ever do the same mistake because I tried to make sure that I set a goal for myself, like I will be doing it in 30 days. Now that 30 days is like another 45 days. So, and then still issues going on. And the framings, the house is not squared, so the framing section is, you mentioning, he didn't tell me that he needs still to be frame the house in a way that you could hang the drywall. So there are a lot of things that this actually is helpful. So we need to understand all the 12 phases. So
Yeah, and I also want you guys to understand too, like, and as awesome as it is to see like a Caden try to do a house in 10 days and Nate doing a house in 7 days and all that stuff, like, don't tell Nate I said this, but like, it's just not real for everybody. Like, it's cool for Instagram and it's cool to say you've done it, but for you guys to feel like you have to do a house in 10 days or even 30 days, it's just not fair to you. It's like, I can do a house pretty fast, right? Probably. I mean, I do, but like, it's just setting a standard that's not real, kind of. Does that make sense, guys? Like, you can do it eventually, but for your first ones and trying to do it, especially out of area and out of state, that adds another level of diligence and taking time. Like it's cool for Instagram, but I don't want to sit here and be like, guys, you just got to get it done in 12 days. Well, how do I do it? You just do it. Well, how do you just do it? Well, you just do it by just doing it, and you just do it and just do it. And like, that's so like, are there action steps to just doing it, or what? Like, what? What's the first part? Well, you just, then you do. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, all right, cool. That's easy enough. So whatever. But that's it. But like, I love it. It makes for good content or whatever. But AK, like, there's nothing wrong between you finishing a house in 30 days or 45 days. Like, does that make you a failure? Who in here feels like you would be a failure if it took you 60 days to do your first deal? If it took you 90, like, it's okay. Like, I have a house right now that's just sitting that some of you have been through on Hawthorne. That house, we've been ready to finish it and put drywall and stuff up, but my contractors are occupied finishing a house in 10 days. That's where they're at. They're a little bit busy somewhere at a different house. And then I'm going to send them to my house because my house is more important. I need to get my house finished because I don't really have a place to live in. I'm doing coaching calls in a rental house that I don't want to stay in forever. Like I want to get back in my house. Then I will send them back to Hawthorne to finish Hawthorne. So just keep that in mind. And now we talk about the contractors, right? These people here, you want, first of all, for all these people, you want the deepest bench. You have to have the deepest bench. And that means always networking, connecting, and just meeting different people. And I can't tell you how often I'll post things on, I'll post stuff on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, I just got my electric done, got this whole house rewired for $3,400. You're a liar. You're this. Your people are hiding from ICE. You're this, that. Like, dude, everything in the world I would hear, and I'm just like, yeah, everything you're saying is right. That's fine. Like, except that's just not true. Like, you can find these people that will do good quality permitted work for less expensive. And let me explain the cycle of how this works. Now, Mike, will you come up here for a minute and talk about contractors for a second? So my rule for my contract is kind of like the role is like, I'm always building my bench, right? And I think about my HVAC guy, Donnie. I love Donnie. Donnie, I went and I ran the play on the Craigslist ad and the Facebook ads that I talk about. And I met Donnie at my house at like 30,006 Auten. Donnie came out, this was like 7, 8 years ago or whatever. Donnie came out and I met like 4, 5, 7 different HVAC people. I met Donnie. Donnie wasn't the cheapest guy. He wasn't the most expensive. Donnie had just left a big company, kind of came out of an apprenticeship, wanted to start his own business. And I'm like, Donnie's got the job. Donnie's been with me ever since. But sometimes my guys will leave. Like, we'll leave and do stuff. But it's because in the beginning, like, I'm a stepping stone. I know, I'm a stepping stone, right? And I'm really looking for contractors that are like B kind of players, but I'm also okay being a stepping stone to help somebody that's going off on their own, starting a business. And just like what Donnie was doing. And I knew that eventually at some point, Donnie was going to get more retail jobs because I'm good, consistent work. You guys are good, consistent work. They don't have to wear booties. They can listen to music. They can show up when they want. The houses are crappy. Like, there's a different level of standard that you have to show up with when you work on houses that are being renovated versus homeowner houses. Homeowners are a pain in the butt. They just are. They change things. They demand things. They want this. We're really easy to work for. Like, you just come up, knock it out. We're going to pay you and just get on your way. But also, Donnie will swap out a furnace for me, do an entire swap out. I'll pay him like $750 for Donnie to do it. And I'll pay for the material. That's just to Donnie. Donnie will go swap out a furnace for somebody else and charge like $7,000 or $8,000 with the equipment and everything and make significantly more money. And in the beginning, Donnie didn't have a lot of those opportunities. He was just doing my work and a few other investors. I gave his name to people. But now we're at this agreement where Donnie's helping me with my house, and Donnie kept pushing my house on the HV. And that's what, earlier I was telling the story, like, he kept pushing, because he's like, I've got retail work. I'm like, dude, I get it. You've got retail, like you got to go make that money. But like, he doesn't forget about like how I've helped him get to the level that he's at. And Donnie, dude, this is amazing. But I'm paid for all the material, and Donnie's doing it all for free for me at my house. I'm just paying his helper $150 a day. Donnie's like, I don't want anything. I literally had to Venmo him money because I'm like, dude, I have to pay you something. Like, you came, like, at least let me give you something, which is like awesome. So,
But you've given him value prior to that.
So much.
That's like him paying you back.
Yeah. And I got chills. I'm like, oh, it's so super nice. Like, my electrician, we wired my 2,000 square foot addition for $1,000 because of all the work I've given him. Like, and I don't ask for any of this. Like, discounts are never asked for. They're just given to you. Like, I will never ask for anything different. But I'm insanely grateful that they did that because I'm paying cash for all this and it gets expensive fast. So I'm really excited. But Mike, will you talk about your experience with contractors?
My experience with contractors, I don't think we have enough time for that. So
Hold on, wait.
I'm a contractor by trade.
Can you put this on?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
How does this work?
just magnets. There's contractor a while ago, apparently.
Yeah.
Magnets.
I don't know how to work a magnet. Yeah, so I started in construction 20 plus years ago. So that side of this business has come really natural to me. But dealing with contractors, I mean, it's just been, it's hard for me to speak on that a little bit because like I'm not coming from this side of it, right? So like from my side of it, I kind of know how to handle them because I've been there, I've been through it. So for you guys, like, you really have to just understand, especially the stuff that like Jarius is putting up here, like understand the systems, the orders, and the processes. Why things are being done in a certain order, that's super like important. Like we're talking about with the HVAC and the plumbing, like if you do that stuff backwards, the next guy that comes in is going to charge you a whole bunch more money to to do that in a more difficult manner. So that's why that stuff's really important. But to Jarius's point, like contractors and everybody in this industry, really, they're all cyclical. They're going to go through these cycles. You're going to have great guys. You're going to have great wholesalers. You're going to have great lenders. You're going to have great contractors. They're not going to be there forever. So that's what he's talking about, keeping that bench deep, because when this guy's no longer good or he's moved on to bigger and better things, you want to have that next person in line ready to kind of move in there. So that's kind of my thing in a nutshell with the contractors.
So Mike's going to be on a panel here in a minute, so we'll have to get more time. But so you said something interesting. You said, well, coming at it from your perspective is different than everybody else's. Can you talk about maybe ways that somebody here could talk to you or find you, or work, how they work with a contractor like you or somebody that was like you? Like what that looks like, questions to ask, what that process looks like.
The biggest thing first is going to educate yourself on the construction side, the rehab side of things. You want to understand as much as you possibly can so that when you start hiring contractors, you can see when someone's doing something right and someone's doing something wrong. That's going to be the best benefit to you. Where to find them: early morning, Home Depot, Lowe's. You usually don't want the guy that's there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and looks like he just got out of bed, or he smells like booze. That's a red flag. Don't hire that guy. But there's no perfect way, here, go to this place at this time and you're going to find the best contractors ever. You're always going to run into the guys that aren't so great, and you're going to run into the guys that are pretty good. So you really, the most important thing you can do is understand. You don't have to know how particularly to build a house, but you want to understand the process, the systems, and how things go together, so that when you hire somebody and you walk into your house and you could say, well, that doesn't look right. Can you tell me why that's like that? And if they don't have a good answer for you, then it's pack your stuff and we're going to get someone else in here to fix that. So no, there's not a perfect place to go and find somebody, but obvious places are Home Depots, Lowe's, any kind of, if you need a siding guy, go to a siding wholesaler, window guy, go to a window wholesaler. You can ask those people, build relationships. That's a really big thing in this industry, just relationships. I can't speak more on that. The relationship capital across the board, just making friends with people so that when you get into these situations where you don't know something, you know someone who does. So
Mike, can you talk about, for another second, one last question. Anytime you got somebody like Mike here, Rob, or any of these people, man, it's just awesome. But can you talk about how you handle paying contractors? What does your system look like?
My system for paying contractors. So again, a little bit different. My guys are in-house, so I have an in-house team that we use for 90% of our stuff. I sub out HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. So when it comes to those things, I have them give me a quote, and it's usually I want a line item quote. I want to know what I'm paying you for exactly. When it comes to time to paying them, if it's a rough-in phase, okay, then how much are you charging me for the rough-in? I'm going to pay you for that rough-in. I'm not paying you for the whole job. I'm not giving you, X amount of dollars up front because you want it. Most of the time I'm paying for materials. HVAC, I let my HVAC guy get his own materials because he gives me a good price, and that's just a problem I don't want to deal with. But anybody that's giving me a price, whether it, whatever trade it is, I want to see very itemized what that is. I think someone just shared something in the BIA group not too long ago. It was labor $500, and it was the whole project $40,000. It's just that's not the type of the quotes that you want to see. You want to see stuff that is very laid out and the more informative someone's quote is, the better it is on both sides of the fence.
Yeah,
So
you guys, you don't want to have any room for confusion. It needs to be crystal clear in the beginning. And if a contractor, and if you ask for something formal and they give you a snide remark, or they scoff, or they're that's not somebody you want to work with. No big deal.
yeah, I mean, for sure. But at the same time, I don't care if you write it on a napkin. I just want to know what it is. I want to know exactly, so that me and you are on the same page, that this is what I expect of you and this is what you expect of me. You want X amount of dollars to perform X amount of work. Perfect, let's go. But if that's not there and you can't be clear and concise with what it is, then we're not going to work together. You just can't.
I love it. Give it up for Mike, everybody. Oh, no, Mike's not cool. Let's go. What do we got?
When you say you have your own in-house carpenters, that type of thing, so you have your own business and
Correct.
they're on regular payroll?
Correct.
The whole 9 yards?
Yep.
How many guys?
I have 5 guys.
5.
I had 8 earlier this year.
Are
And
you doing work for other outside?
so great question, and someone else asked us earlier. I primarily focus on my projects. So I want to be buying and flipping and doing BRRRRs for myself. However, I also want to keep my guys happy and keep them busy. So if there are times where there's some layups in between my projects, and I will do some stuff for investors only. I did the retail stuff for a long time, and just like Jerry said, they're a pain in the butt. Like, I don't want to argue with someone over paint colors or picking out different colors tiles. Like, the best thing about doing your own projects is, like, I'm the boss. And, like, if you don't like my house, then don't buy it or don't live in it. You know what I mean? Like, when you have a client, you have to answer to them, and they're your boss. So it's a different kind of thing. And I just like to keep my guys in the same process, right? Like, so when we do stuff for investor clients, they're doing the same process as they would be on mine. When we do stuff for retail clients, it just adds confusion that doesn't need to be there. So does that answer your question?
Just a quick question. Was it you that said you would do plumbing before HVAC or no?
I would, yeah.
Why is that?
So plumbing has to be very particular most cases where it is. You have code to deal with, and like obviously pipes they can't really move too much. HVAC has a little bit more leeway, but at the same time it kind of has to go where it has to go. But electrical, I mean, they're wires, they can go up and around and everything else. So that's usually one of the last trades that go in.
So you mentioned finding a good contractor or something, right? I think I would just add to that. If you find one good contractor you really like, I feel like that person may lead you to other good contractors. Right?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Again, that's back to that relationship capital. Like, you want to build relationships with everybody. Jarius is a big advocate. He always says this, don't be a, what's the exact thing? Don't be a secret agent. I mean, that's just with everything. Like, hey, like, I'm looking for more contractors. Like, tell your contractor, hey, I'm looking for houses. Like, tell everybody what you're doing and what you need, so that when you need that, you have this, kind of really close at reach. So.
Brandon, so I've ran into a lot where I'll find a contractor that does really good work, but they just suck at running the business. They estimate.
Hire them.
What?
Build a team.
Yeah, but like if I'm doing not on the scale you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be able to build a team. I have like a roster of people to use, but I guess my question is, how hands-on should I be? Because Julius actually helped a few months ago, like do a payment schedule, and I presented it to my contractor, and he's like, I've never seen this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, let me educate you. Let's go through it together.
Sure.
And he got on board with it, but there's a little handle. So I guess like how much should you be involved with kind of educating and helping them, as opposed to like, oh, you're not good. Because I find the ones that are like, okay, I'll give you a really good quote and I'll do it all itemized. They might not do the best work, or they'll just be extremely expensive.
Yeah, I mean, there's a balance there for that. But for that guy in particular, I mean, you have to think about what your time is worth. And like, if you're doing a ton of hand holding, then he better be giving you like the best deal ever. But if you're educating him and he's learning from that, and he's becoming more efficient, then that's kind of you paying it forward a little bit. So I mean, again, there's no perfect answer to that, but that's you kind of have to find that balance.
Just gotta fill it out, Brandon.
Yeah. Jarius, I'll let you. There's too many hands. I don't know who was next.
Mike, this is your show, man. I'll hop in. We're in number 4 or whatever we're at.
No. There's the hands. There's questions.
Nick, you already have one.
All right, so I gotta admit, the first time I seen, I think I watched Nate, and it might have been Matt, and they were walking through a house. They had an iPad, and everything was itemized. They like followed the wall all the way around, and all the prices was there. I'm a contractor, and I was like, I would never do that. Like, I know what the price is per square foot where I'm from, and I'm like, I would never itemize my list like that. I don't have time like to do that as a contractor. So then, I had to go look at like my first flip. I had that tablet, right? Because I don't want to do the work. I didn't get into real estate for me to do the work.
Sure.
I got into it because I want to get away from
Right.
the work, GC the project, and let other people build my empire.
Right.
So now I'm like, well, let me try what they do. So I grabbed I had my iPad, I had the spreadsheet on there. I walked in, I just followed the wall, marked down everything that was wrong. By the way, my realtor was pissed because it was taking forever. He was
You get faster though. It gets easier, but yeah.
Right. So, and I'm not gonna lie, I got halfway through, And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm done. So I wouldn't even do it for myself.
So let me ask you this though, like prior to you getting into investing, you say you were doing contracting and stuff
Yeah,
yourself.
until I finished
How did you run your business and run it efficiently and know what your profit and losses are if you're not following it like to the T?
So like for a finished basement around my way, I knew 1,000 square feet. I knew I was charging about $25 a square foot.
Okay.
Now, the last finished basement I did was probably 5 years ago, because I kind of been straying away.
Sure.
I don't know what that price is now per square foot.
Okay.
But I knew in the breakdown, I knew like what the electrician was going to charge. Like you said, electrician charged $3,400 and you ran your whole house. Well, my electrician was charging. I was paying that $3,400 for 1,000 square feet and a finished basement. You know, but I knew what he was going to charge. I knew the breakdown. I knew what the delivery fees were going to be and what phase to bring the materials and so I knew what the breakdown was going to be per cost, and then I knew what I was going to make on the labor end simply by charging per square foot.
Right. So, and I'm not saying
if I
you're
was doing a deck, I'll do material, labor. I'll break that down.
right.
But if you ask me to come into, if you ask me to come into, like a fix and flip or a really trashed house,
Mm-hmm.
I would try to break that down. Now I haven't had that. I have done. I turned a bank into a church in
Okay.
Philadelphia, and I gave him that number per square foot, and I will say probably didn't make as much as I was supposed to in that experience, but that was probably outside of home remodels, residential stuff like that. That was probably the biggest commercial job that I had.
Sure.
I didn't lose, but I didn't make what I was supposed to make.
Right. Right. So, but like my point with that is, and I'm kind of the same way. Like when I walk my properties, I don't do the spreadsheet thing. I don't fill everything out. I just know because I have the experience, just like you're saying. I walk through and I'm like, okay, this is going to cost me roughly this. This is going to cost me roughly this, and I put an overall budget together. However, once we get on the project and my guys are actually doing work, we track that to the penny. So back to my point though, like if you're charging $25 a square foot to do a basement, you know you're making money, but you don't know how much. And that's fine if you're doing like one or two deals here and there. But if you want to scale,
You know how much. If you know what you're paying, I mean, I run my business with QuickBooks. If I know what I'm paying, I know what I'm paying out, and I know material-wise, and I know what my cost of labor was, and I know what my estimate.
What you're saying you're tracking it after it's already kind of been spent a little bit.
right?
Tracking it. So here's the deal: is like you already knew when you were doing those bases for $25 a square foot, you didn't just make that number up.
No.
You at that time, at some point, had priced out the lumber, the drywall, the insulation, the outlets, the wire. You had priced everything out at that time, and then you understood that was my pricing.
Right.
So then you kind of had your own spreadsheet, but it was very niche for what you were doing at that time because you had done it. So you had the spreadsheet, you just didn't have the spreadsheet, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's why if you were to do it today, because you're like, it's been 5 years, today you would have, where would you start? How much is a 2x4? How much is your drywall?
Right. You'd have to do that spreadsheet essentially to get where you want to be. Yeah.
So you had it. It was just like your version of it.
Right.
Kind of.
And you have to remember, like, you're doing this for you. You're not doing this for a client. So where it's kind of painstaking to sit down at the end of the night after a long day and like figure out pricing for a client. That's one thing. You're figuring these prices out for you to grow your real estate portfolio. So like it's a bigger picture thing that you have to just pay attention to that. And it's not like I might or maybe I get this job, maybe I don't. I'm gonna spend 2 hours figuring out pricing. You want to figure out everything you can pretty much to a T, like I said, so that you can track it throughout the project. If something's changing or if something took longer or if something was easier, so that you can adjust it going forward. One thing that we track construction for, is one of the biggest things I track construction for, is because our market is getting so competitive that people are paying too much for stuff. Okay, paying too much on the buyer side of the deal. Okay, So I need to know where my construction budget is and like narrowed down to the penny so that I know exactly how much I can pay, so that I can go in there and I can make my highest offer because I'm up against 10 other people that probably don't have the experience or education that I do. So I know that I'm like, this is the most I can pay and still make money. If they want to pay more beyond that, then they're going to lose money and that's on them. But I want to make sure that I'm staying competitive, knowing my numbers and not just ballpark stuff, because you ballpark, a whole house and you could be off by 20 grand, right?
Well, I will say this, that philosophy now has helped me deal with other contractors. Because I'm like, yo, I'm not paying you $3.50 a square feet to put the floor down. Listen, I'll pay you $1.50. And if you don't want to pay $1.50, I got Chino up the street that'll do it.
Yeah.
And because I've had somebody do it for $3.50 on a renovation on one of my properties. And when it was all said and done, I was like, we go to church together, and I was thinking to myself, I knew that if I go into a residential, I'm probably at like $250 to $325 to $375 per square foot.
Right.
I let him charge me what I knew I would charge.
Right.
But that wasn't, when it was all said and done, I was like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, if you can't do it for this price, let me know, and I'll find somebody
But
else.
that's because you understand it. And that's kind of what the point that we're trying to make is, like, you really want to understand the rehab and construction side of things so that you can go into deals knowing where, number one, what you should be spending on every item, and what you can offer on a property so that it still makes sense throughout that rehab project. So you're doing it right. I would love to see you just kind of nail those things down a little bit more. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm a contractor, but you're on both sides. You contract and investor.
Mhm.
Can you turn the volume up?
I'm a contractor, but you've done both.
Yep.
What I don't mind, because I feel like when I have done that, I don't even get a call back. They just grab my number and go somewhere else.
So when I say itemize, I'm not saying like you have to show them where every single penny goes, but break it down at least as much as you can. And this is beneficial on both sides, right? Like, you guys all know this. If anybody's ever done a project in any phase, like, something's going to change, okay? Throughout any project, there's always going to be some variable that comes up, something you didn't see, something you didn't know about, something is going to change. So on your side, where the benefit is as a contractor, if you know what your itemized pricing is, when that item changes, it's very easy to go back and make the adjustment, whether it's higher or lower, right? Like, say you're doing a bathroom and they, a customer wants a different tile. You allocated $3 a square foot for the tile, but the tile they picked now is $6 a square foot. If you don't have that in there, but you know it in your head, okay, it's easy for you to go and make that adjustment, but it's not easy for them to accept your adjustment because they don't see it. They don't know what that is. You know that there's a $3 difference, but they don't know where that is. So if you're not breaking that down, then it makes it more difficult on both sides. Does that make sense?
Because the way that I have specifications,
Mhm.
so it's clear what they're getting for the amount, but I don't know if it would be better to do what.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you give them one big price and it's like $20,000 to do this job, but I'm going to do all these things, that's great. So that's showing you what you're going to include in that total amount, but it's not showing you what specific things are. So again, if one little thing changes in there, how can you justify changing that dollar amount when there's no justification for it on the other side? Right, which as a business owner, you don't want to do that. What kind of system are you using to like do quotes and stuff like that?
I have Excel sheets that
Man, I've been using this system called Joist for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And what's really cool about it is an online program. It does all your quotes and stuff, but you can put all these line items in there and it saves it. Okay, so you'll do it one time and it'll stay in there. So when you go to the next house and you're like, oh, I got to do bathroom tile, mosaic, your square footage price, boom, everything's there. It just pops up. All you got to do is put in the amount of square footage and it's already there. So you don't have to retype that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, like a floor joist. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few different ones. I've been using that for a long time. But I mean, it makes it super simple so that you don't have to redo that over and over and over again. You put your pricing in there one time and it's there. And even for you guys, like walk-in properties, you can use something like that. Walk the property and you're just kind of putting in there, okay, there's this many, this much square foot, this much drywall, and it'll just populates basically what your pricing should be, so you have a really good budget for stuff like that.
Would you recommend associated builders and contractors to scout for contractors?
Yeah. What was that? I'm sorry.
To like scout for contractors that are decent.
Yeah.
Good. Because I've had contractors that were flaky, and I spent a lot of money and stuff. So I'm looking for a better route. So I'm looking at it's like a associated builder and contractor. It's
Like a membership kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like that's where I can find credible contractors.
Yes and no. I wouldn't join anything like that, because I mean, like, I'll use the Better Business Bureau for example. And the question for everybody who couldn't hear it was, would you join a membership affiliated program that would recommend contractors, correct? I personally wouldn't do that, because again, if you look at the Better Business Bureau, anybody can go on there and get an A+ rating. They could be the worst contractor, worst company out there, and just because someone didn't, file a claim against them on BBB, they're the best. So those groups that you're talking about are kind of the same. It's kind of cliquey a little bit from what my experience is, and they pay to be in the group. So you're going to find good and bad contractors everywhere. So I wouldn't pay to be in a group. I think the best thing that you guys can do locally is meet with other investors. There's always meetups everywhere. I would go there, shake hands with people, and be like, hey, like, who's a good contractor? Who should I stay away from? Just let people know what you're doing. Again, back to that, don't be a secret agent. Just, you want to talk to people and build your network out locally so that you can reach the people that you need to. Go ahead.
In that same line of thought, when you're vetting a contractor, do you let them know how much your experience is at first, or do you let them kind of?
No, I kind of play reverse psychology on that, and just I let them talk, and then when they start tripping up, if they do, most of the time I thankfully talk to good people, but when they start tripping up, then I start asking questions, and then they'll either fix what they said and realize that I know what I'm talking about, or I'll prove more and more that they don't know what they're talking about, and then we kind of go our separate ways from there. Go ahead.
Most of us are affiliated with the Home Depot. What do you think about going to the protest?
Absolutely, yeah. The only thing that's with Home Depot is most of those contractors, and you're going to find really good ones there, but you have to remember, like Juris was saying, most of them are dealing with retail clients who are paying top dollar for stuff. So unless you get the guy who is just starting out, which can be a really good asset to you, if you're talking to established contractors, established companies, they're usually going to be top, higher to the top of the retail market when you're dealing with them. So
my thinking is that they would know where the contractor is as far as experience, how long he's been in the business.
for sure. But again, back to building those relationships. Like, you guys, every step that you go through with this whole, whether you're doing rentals or flips or whatever, is just building relationships with people. Everywhere you go, title companies, insurance companies, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever you need to do, make sure you're letting everybody know what you do and what you're looking for, and what kind of relationship you can build to help each other. But yeah, that's a great way to find contractors, Home Depot for sure.
I did, and this was a few years ago when I didn't even have properties then, but in my head I was going to have like 1 million properties
Sure.
in a couple years. So I actually went on social media and I said, I'm looking for contractors,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe 50 contractors responded.
Yeah.
But then my next step was send your resume.
Yeah, they won't follow up.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you weed through them. Yeah, I do the same thing. Like I do this with tenants too. I put out a very simple, do this. I just want to see that you can follow directions. It's not some crazy thing. It's just, I want to put one little, sentence in there, like, if you want this job, do this. If you want to move into this house, do this. It's one real simple thing. And if they can't follow directions, then that's an immediate out for me. Just, we need to be able to communicate.
Guys, real quick. Who's hungry? All right, the cheesecakes are here.
Cheesecakes? Like, we're getting dessert already?
Do you guys just want to eat them at your seat? All right, I'm gonna have Matt hand them out real quick, okay? Matt, will you take a picture of the box though? Will you take a photo?
Where are the cheesesteaks from?
I have no
cheesesteaks
idea.
coming in.
Where are they from?
They're from free, okay? I'm not sure. It's somewhere good. Blame it on Trina if they're not good.
I don't know if they're free.
All right, guys, real quick. Get up for Mike. You guys got to say some questions before he comes back up.
Yeah.
Mike.
Appreciate you, bro.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. I need that.
You want this? Yeah.
All right. So, we are. Where are we? Roughing? Okay. Everything behind the walls. So, let's keep rolling. So, now, real quick, while we're on this topic, guys, again, remember earlier I said that not all contractors are created equal? Now, I don't want my specialty tradespeople, I don't want my HVAC, electrician, my plumbers to put up insulation, fire block, or do fire caulking. And the window shouldn't be there, so I have to take that off. But I don't want my skilled people to do the insulation and fire blocking and whatnot. The insulation, for everybody that doesn't know, they're just those big pink rolls. They come in rolls. They have paper on one side and then the pink foam or whatever on the other side. The fluffy, looks like feathers. But that's something that like general labor can do. Just make sure it's clean. They take their time. They staple it. It looks good. The fire caulking is basically what fire caulking is anytime there's a wire. So let's just say you have the first. This is a floor, and down here is the first floor, and up here is the second floor. And anytime there's anything that penetrates this area here, for like a wire, plumbing, whatever, you need to fill that space that pipe has gone in with some fire foam because it slows down the spread of fire. Check with your building department, make sure, whatever. Let's just...
Sorry, real quick. So we have two kinds, one with regular cheese and one with cheese whiz. So just let me know which kind you want.
Oh, that's very specific. I would have just gotten you all the exact same thing. Wow. I was gonna eat it all, dude. We had great ones yesterday. I don't know where they're at, but Matt's buddy took us out. All right. Look at this, guys. Give it up to Trina. Give it up to Trina for putting this thing together and helping. And she's amazing. You guys have an amazing support system here. So, all right. All right. Oh, I got photos. Good. No. All right, everybody. So check it out. We're going to keep rocking. So this is what my rough-in looks like. So remember earlier I showed you that kitchen that space in the demo phase? So this is actually the French door we put in. You see these wires here, hanging here. That's the rough-in. Guys, see this right here? Now remember how I said anytime a piece of wire or plumbing goes from one floor to another? So like stuff like right down here that will get fire foamed and whatever else. All right, bonus points. Who knows what this is right here? Who knows why? Okay, it's a pipe. Who knows why that pipe is there? Yep, pressure test. So before you can pass your plumbing rough-in, you have to put air in the system. So they'll put between 7 and 10 psi of air in there and make sure it holds the water, which just shows there's no leaks. So rough-in. All right, guys, this is the more rough-in. Now we notice that at this point we've talked planning, we've talked demo, we talked plan again, we talked framing, we talk about our mechanicals that are rough-in, everything behind the walls. Then we do our insulation, and now at this point we're getting ready to close these walls. So I have drywall on site, right? Because that's the next thing to come up. I almost had drywall at my house today, but they didn't drop it off. So I got to figure that out. So maybe one day I'll get all 380 sheets of my drywall. Yeah. Question about fire blocking.
Do you have to be licensed in order to do the fire blocking and caulking?
No, you just have to be able to breathe. That's it. That's it.
You need to know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's it.
Why would you hold 300 sheets?
Why what?
Why did you hold 300 sheets?
Why did I what?
Boom. Why did you
Oh, boom? Oh, because Home Depot won't boom them. And M&M drywall, for what we pay at Home Depot for that drywall, it's like $9.85 a sheet. And the drywall supplier charges me $17 a sheet.
Can you find somebody private that
No, my booms are the crews that do it. Guys, I'm paying them to carry the drywall in. I'm stimulating the economy, okay? I'm paying extra. I pay them $1 a board. They're happy. $1 a board, 2 guys can carry in 300 sheets in about 4 hours. Yeah, about 4, what? 2 guys. Half inch. Yeah. Like 4 hours, they'll be fine. 5 hours. Say that again? So drywall sheets typically come in 4x8, 4x10, and 4x12. And to hang and finish drywall, we pay for labor only to get it ready for paint, material and labor only, between $30 and $35 per board. And that also doesn't matter if it's a 4x8, 4x10, or a 4x12 board. It is still by board, because even if the board is bigger, that's just less taping. So it's still the same price.
And that's including the 3 coats and it.
That's paint ready, done. Paint ready, done. Between $30 and $35 a board. Labor only, that is it. I'll budget for the drywall to hang, finish, paint, material, and everything all in cost about $70 a board when I'm doing it and putting it up. So what's 70 times 350? It's thousands. I don't know, whatever it is. All right. Thousands of billions. No. Right, that's for all in. That's buying the boards, the screws, the tape. That's like everything. That gets me finished. 350. Yeah, all right. Cool. Awesome. Yo. Say that again. I've done older homes and what? Any what construction? Bloom? No, balloon? No, I don't know balloon. What? No. That might be a Philly thing. I don't know. I don't have. Do you guys have that? We don't have that. Balloon framing? Huh? We do? From the first floor all the way up? I don't remember that then. I don't. Framing that goes from the first floor all the way up to. Well, we frame the first floor and then we frame it to the sill plate around the second floor. Then we go up. I guess I never really pay attention to that, to be totally honest. I guess I don't pay close enough attention to it.
You still got a fire block whether you balloon or not.
Yeah, we always fire block. We have to. And we'll fire block either with 2x4s or with like mineral wool. So whatever. If we have a lot of 2x4s on site, we'll just use those. But if we don't, we'll just get the mineral wool because it's super easy to put up.
We gotta use the 2x6s.
Yeah, we can use 2x4s. So just check with the building department. Yeah. Yeah. That one or one before? Are the cheesesteaks okay?
I'm from around here.
Oh my God. All right, cool. All right, let's roll through. All right, next. So now at this point, we've insulated, we've fire blocked, we've done everything behind the walls. Now we're going to hang and finish our drywall. And I put here 4x8 by ½ inch sheets are typical. Again, 4x10, 4x12, ½ inch. It depends on what you're doing. Fire rated drywall is 5/8, and that helps with like sound and stuff too. Like at my house, I'm doing like around our master suite, we're doing 5/8 drywall, and then we're also doing spray foam insulation and in between ours, because our master's upstairs and like it's kind of like by the rec room, and we just want it to be like make sure it's quiet, hopefully. It'll be fine. No, so the ceilings, so on some of the buildings, like on the older full guts, we will have to do 2 sheets of 5/8 drywall stacked on some of the older ones. And on the chopstick house, because of the way that the property lines are, if you're closer than 4.5 or 5 feet to the neighbor's house, you have to do 2 layers of 5/8 drywall on the exterior walls. Yeah, that dude, don't buy out of your area. When I'm telling you guys build your North Star and buy there, just buy in your area. Don't try to go anywhere else. I left $250,000 in this house and more gray hair and probably lost 11 years off my life. It was great. One of the best things ever. And now I get to buy the lot next door and just have $25,000 just sit there. But I'll catch it later in the future because that's what I want to do. Is just pay my one guy interest. Luckily, he's giving me a deal on the loan, which I'm grateful for. But whatever. And it is going to add value. It'll be a good play down the road. Just not a play that I really wanted to do at this point. But whatever. All right. Hold on. Oops. Let me go back. So at this point, we are going to hang the drywall. Guys, this is where the pedal hits the floor. This is where you can fly. Once you have all the stuff done, and you can start hanging drywall and putting up backer board. The backer board is the cement board right here. This is where I'm like, dude, when I get to this drywall phase, I'm done in 30 to 45 days. We're flying. We're getting done quickly. We're able to get it done. In my house, my framing inspection is Monday morning at 10 a.m. That's the soonest the building inspector can do it. Obviously, you guys heard me talk to Dylan earlier, and he talked to him. That's the soonest they can do it. That's okay. So Monday at 10 a.m., he's going to come and I pray, give us the green light. I'm going to call tomorrow morning because Home Depot is going to be closed, but my pro will be out of there by the time this is over. I'm going to call tomorrow, hopefully get my drywall scheduled again for Monday or Tuesday, get my drywall there, and then we're going to hit the road, or hit the ground running. So you can see here, you guys see this is purple. Sometimes this is green. Anytime you see the board that's in purple or green, what does it mean if the drywall is purple or green? Mold resistant, right? And we want to use that in our bathrooms. And then we got our backer board here. Anytime that you use this regular cement board, we like to go a little step further and add what is called a red guard. And red guard is just, it comes in a 1 gallon bucket, it's 3.5 gallon bucket. It's super expensive. Honestly, I'm even debating if I want to continue just using the cement board because I have to red guard it and takes more time. Or if I just want to switch and just use Sentinel board everywhere. And basically Sentinel board is like a foam board that's got some cement on it. And you can literally just cut it with a razor and it weighs like a pound. It's so nice to work with. I'm using it at my house and I've used it some places too. But this is what we're looking at this point. This is when the walls are getting formed. This is when the rooms are coming to life. This is a really fun phase, is when we get to this drywall phase.
Which walls are you using the green or purple board on? Just right behind
Bathrooms. I'll use them in all the bathrooms.
the whole bathroom?
Yeah, we'll use them in the whole bathroom. Yeah. Next. This is where we come in and we'll do our trim. So we'll do our baseboard, put our pre-hung doors, our casing, all that kind of stuff will happen at this phase. And you can't tell by this photo, but you guys see here, this that's mud. The photo is kind of really blown out a little bit, but nothing's painted quite yet. But this is when we're gonna do our trim, baseboard, door casings. This is some of our carpentry phase, part 1.
One question. When does the priming happen? Is it right after the drywall is done?
The priming?
Yeah.
So I'll get to that here in a second. So you can, at this point, do a first coat and do priming as soon as the drywall is done and then do the baseboard. But lately, honestly, I've just been priming everything at the paint stage and then hitting it with another coat of paint and then rolling. But I'll get to that in a second. But you definitely can prime during the drywall phase if you want to. Sometimes my guys that are hanging and finishing the drywall aren't always the same guys that are doing the painting. So you can. There's no right or wrong answer. Just like on the trim and the baseboard, most people will be like, I want to do the baseboard after the flooring, and it's cool, you can do it after the flooring. I'm just kind of sharing this how this works. There's no right or wrong way to do. Well, there is right or wrong ways to do a lot of it, but that's just kind of not a super technical thing. Yeah. I need you to be more on taking these photos because I can't just do this. I'm just kidding. Whatever you need, you let me know. All right. All right. So then now we are at our painting and tiling phase at this point. So we've hung on the drywall. We put the backer board up. We've done the trim and doors and the casings and all that kind of stuff. Then at this point, that's when I bring the painters in and we just paint every single thing everywhere. I paint everything one color, one sheen, everywhere. Trim, doors, walls, ceiling, everything gets one color everywhere. I'll paint it. PPG, delicate white, eggshell, literally everywhere. Even in the bathrooms, I don't care. I paint them everywhere. The exact same thing. In the beginning, guys, I would paint the walls agreeable gray, trim intellectual gray, bathrooms one color, flat on the ceiling, trim on this. Like, I painted everything every color. And when people moved out and things happened, it just turned into a mess trying to match the colors and to paint and to do all this. So I'm just like, a few years ago, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm painting everything one color, and that's the only thing I'm ever going to have. Has anybody here done the paint everything one color method? What happened, Quentin? Nope. Somebody didn't move in and say, somebody didn't look at it and just say, like, I'm not doing this. Nobody probably even noticed. Like, has anybody else done the one coat, one sheen everywhere? No? All right. Oh, yeah, Mary? Yeah, it's the best. It's so easy. And you're just like, they're like, oh, what's my paint history? Well, Jarius, you only buy one kind of paint. You're like, I know, isn't it amazing? Like, it's the best. Sometimes I'll buy Battleship Gray for like a basement floor, whatever. But whatever. Nick? Eggshell? Everywhere. And nobody cares. Guess what I'm going to do at my house? I already told my wife. I'm like, we're painting everything. Everything the exact same color. And then my son's like, I want an accent wall. I'm like, you can have you guys can each pick like 2 accent walls. But I don't care. We're painting it one sheen, one color. We're done. It's so much cheaper. It's so much faster. And guess what? I just want to finish my house. I just want to get it done. Like, I'm not trying to, like, we can pick colors later and win awards at some point. That's fine. But like, for right now, like, let's just finish this house. Like, paying a lot of money out of pocket. I just want to get it done. That's it. So you're going to want to spray and back roll. Like, you're going to want your guys to spray and then come back behind with an 18-inch roller. Right, Mike, what do you think? As he took a big bite out of it. Like, I caught him at the exact wrong time. So before you put it up? Oh. You spray the trim and then... Yeah. So, cool. All right, and then this is the tile. Guys, he said it is spray the trim, or prime the drywall after the drywall is hung, spray the trim, and then paint the walls. Oh, spray the trim and doors, and then roll the walls. Roll the walls, yeah. There's no right or wrong way. I mean, just get it on there as fast as you possibly can. That's it. All right, and then the tile. I keep my tile very simple. Like, this was me going out on the edge. I'm like, we're gonna get green subway tile and we're gonna stack it vertical. Like, I'm gonna win this HGTV dream house. Like, and then notice the big chip in my brand new tub. Anybody love that? Just like when your stuff just gets the crap kicked out of it. It's the best. But the contractor. But guess what? The craziest thing is nobody did it. It just happened. Isn't that nuts? It just magically got a chip on it. So it just happened, But then you like get a little touch-up kit and you touch it up. And then you blame it on the tenant and take it out of their deposit. No. I'm just kidding. You don't always do that. Just if they're terrible tenants. Like the one on Hawthorne when she moves out. I can't give her the money fast enough. Like, take it all. I told Jess, I'm waiting for Glankler to give us that thing. We can look at it later when we hang out later tonight. But I'm like, yeah, give her a deposit back. And I tell her we'll give her $1,000. I was like, just tell her we'll give her $1,500. Like, we'll buy her house. We'll get her down payment assistant. I don't like whatever we have to do. But whatever. I thought about blocking her, but I'm like, it's like, who cares? Like, I want her to see some of the things that she'll post to me. I will take and put them on my story because I kind of like subconsciously like want her to see it, to be like, you're crazy. And the next thing I want to ask her too, because like today, oh my God, she sent messages. I'll read them later tonight. Messages about she changed her lock in her unit so we couldn't get in the unit, which she's clearly not allowed to do. So yesterday we just drilled it out. And I'm like, dude, we drilled it out. I was like, drill it out. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, get a drill and get in that unit. I don't care what you have to do, like whatever you have to do. So we did it. And we drilled it out. We broke into our own unit because she changed the locks, because she's the special snowflake and the exception to everything, which is great. So then we get in, and today she sends this email, and I'll read it to you guys later today. And she's like, number one is like, nobody's responding to me. I'm not getting a direct answer about the seeing the report from the lead inspector today. And the lead inspector is just like, there is no report. He's like, I'm going to look at it. And he's like, I'm not going to test anything. He's like, I could go up and down this road testing for lead and I'll find lead in every single house here in Cincinnati. He's like, do you want me to burn them all down? Like, there's lead. He's like, there's lead everywhere. He's like, I don't know how to explain this to her. And I'm like, I'll explain it to her. Here's money, move out now. Like, go somewhere different. But we'll mess with all that later, guys. We'll call the lead guy too, see if he answers, and have Charles talk about it tonight. We're gonna have the best time ever. Calling him at like 10:30 tonight. Okino will be like, yo, long story short, there's lead. What do I do? But I'm not saying there's lead. There's discoloration. So we don't know what it is yet, okay? So, Karen, if you edit this, don't put that in there. All right. So, no. Tile the bathroom. Does that make sense? Are we good up to this point? Is everybody happy? All right. Good. Sorry for the below average cheesesteaks.
Oh, no, it was great.
Okay, good. No. All right. The next thing. Then, and remember, guys, we're getting photos along the way. Like, I'm getting photos of the drywall. I think if you're only going to get one set of photos, I would say, or if you're only going to get a couple sets of photo, I would say definitely a before, definitely one before they hang drywall, because your drywallers will cover outlets. They'll cover things that are supposed to be there. So it's really good to have photos for reference. And then ones at the very end. So if you had to pick a few, those are like be the few that I would definitely get. But I like getting lots of photos. I think it's a good investment. It goes back to don't be a secret agent. I love to share those on the internet. I love to, I just love for people to see them. I like to add them on my portfolio. It will attract private money. Like you guys, we know we're not talking about that today. But we, whatever, we can talk about anything. But like people see that stuff. Like it's different for me to say, just working on a house, it looks great versus posting this amazing before, during, and after. It's like, holy smokes, that's amazing. Like a picture is worth 1,000 words. So keep that in mind. Like as you guys are scaling, you might not think about money. You might not think about social media. You might not think about that. But you're also, it's not even like the private money. It's the person next door with a house that they just inherited, the person that has an issue here, like what that kind of stuff looks like. And again, I hate retail jobs. Like I don't want to do retail stuff, just like what Mike was saying. But like if people see that you know how to do this stuff and they reach out to you, I'll throw stuff to my guys, like Donnie, my HVAC guy, or my plumber, my guys. I'm like, if you want this, it's yours. Go do whatever you want. Toss me a couple $100 or take camera, whatever. Like I will give them referrals from people that reach out to me because I could go and do kitchens. I could go do bathrooms. There is an amount of money that's worth it to me to do that stuff for somebody else. Like I just want to be left alone. Like that's it. And not by you guys though. I love when you guys privately message me questions. It's my favorite thing. Keep doing that. Because that's perfect. So wait, where am I at? All right, carpentry. So now we've painted, we've tiled, we've got the trim up, we've got the doors up. Now we've got our carpenters coming in. Like carpenters are coming in, they're ready to crush it and do really great stuff. What do? Well, the carpenters are going to set kitchen cabinets, set the bathroom vanities, install doorknobs, passage, privacy, whatever those doorknobs you're putting in, door stops, install the mirrors, install cabinet hardware. Like they're going to come in and just start like putting the final pieces together, really getting that stuff in there. There you go. So you can see that same bathroom. Tile is in. We got the vanity. Who knows my rule on vanity mirrors? Always Amazon. I never use vanity mirrors that come with any vanity set. Vanity mirrors are so inexpensive. They're between $40 and $80 for like a nice vanity mirror like this. I think it goes a long way. If you're renovating a bathroom and you have $150 to spend, the best use of your money is going to be a new mirror and a vanity light. If you got a few $100 extra, a vanity on top of that. Vanity, mirror, and a vanity light is the biggest bang for your buck in a bathroom on a budget. Obviously, if you have more money, you can do more, but just talking about you buy something, you're tight on cash, like it goes a long way. The ROI on that is huge. So you can see that there. Tub, that. See all the cabinets set. We got our hardware, all that. That's that same bathroom or the same kitchen that you guys saw in the beginning in that first place. Yes? Great question. I just did a video on this on Instagram like an hour ago. So my rule is like this. Now, the areas that we want to invest in are typically, like I always say, like first-time home buyer neighborhoods. Those are the areas that we want to invest in. And so again, the areas that you want to invest in are first-time home buyer neighborhoods. That's where I've had the most success. That's where I like to be. Now, what that first-time home buyer area falls under two categories. And the first thing is their home's worth between, I believe, and I still think, I like looked around in Philly a little bit yesterday, and I'm going to mess up the names of the city, but I can't remember them. But yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But either way, homes that are, my definition of first-time home buyers are my definition of first-time home buyer houses are homes that are worth between $150,000 to $450,000. All right, does that make sense? Just define it like that. Now, there's going to be two sets of first-time home buyer houses. Number one is a first-time home buyer area that's driven by school district. And those are going to be the areas that are maybe closer to the Chipotles, the Starbucks, that kind of stuff. I don't believe that those are the best properties really to buy and hold. I mean, they're okay. They're fine. They're just fine. They're going to appreciate, and just great things do. They're fine. Now, those houses there that are kind of school district driven, neighborhood driven and whatnot, you're going to definitely want a bathtub in those houses. You're going to definitely want a bathtub in those houses because if it's a school district driven area, they're probably going to have kids. And kids have to take baths. So I don't want to eliminate 90% of my buyer pool or my renter pool because I don't have a bathtub. So in those areas, I 100% want a bathtub. And I almost always want a bathtub, even in the other set. Now, on the other side of that area is houses that are in areas that are appreciating rapidly, that are closer to downtown, closer to the urban core, closer to the ministry-driven coffee shops, the nonprofit coffee shops, maybe the new barbecue spot that's starting out in an area where you're like, man, would anybody go there? That's dangerous or whatever, right? That kind of stuff. Those kind of areas that really families aren't moving into because there's really no draw there besides it's close to downtown and there's some bars by there, right? That kind of stuff. The more young professional crowd is there. That kind of place, I would have no problem not putting a shower or a tub in. I would just go showers in that. Now, that being said, I still typically do put tubs and showers, tub shower combo in those areas. But I have had some places in the city where I'm just young professionals all day, stand-up showers, done.
In your experience, not putting tubs, doesn't that decrease the property value? In Massachusetts, at least, I've been told by many appraisers and realtors that if I don't put in a tub, that is a lesser value. Consider half a bathroom, not a full bathroom.
That's not true. A bath. Well, I'm just saying a full bath, a full bath is a full bath still. You can't be a lesser full bath. It's like saying I'm in the NBA. Be like, yeah, but you're on the bench. But still in the NBA. What do you want?
If it's true that it's less of a value, that's what I'm being told. I wonder
By who though?
if anybody else has that.
Who's telling you that?
I'm sorry.
Who's telling you?
Appraisers and realtors that I have dealt with.
So, yeah, I mean that's news to me. I mean, does anybody have any experience or thoughts on that? So you think a tub is more value than a stand-up shower? Yeah.
I think they're confusing.
In the city, it's all showers.
I don't think it has.
Right. So kind of like what I was saying. Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with the value. I think they're confusing that. Someone will always recommend you have a tub because if there's a kid.
Yeah.
I know my realtors always recommend a tub, but it doesn't necessarily mean if I put the shower in, it's going to decrease the value. But it might mean what you said earlier. I eliminate 50% of my customer base because it's not there. But
Yeah.
not necessarily the
So
value.
in my experience, I can only speak in Cincinnati where I've done. So in Boston, it might be different, and maybe we'll talk to Okino when he gets here. In my experience, it's never come up. I'll do my appraisal packets, I'll do my kits. They just say, brand new bathroom with custom tile. They never say brand new bathroom with bathtub and custom tile. For me, it's been a non-issue. So I can't say in other places though. At least in Cincinnati where I'm at, I've never had an issue. Rob, you're shaking your head. What are you shaking it?
Full bathroom is a full bathroom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
custom tile is that raise the value up more than.
Dude, this is custom tile, right here. Does that look very custom?
No.
But
does
it's
that
worth
raise
more.
the value if you just had a ceramic?
I think that would raise the value more than just a one piece, than a 3-piece surround.
Okay.
Definitely, I think the tile is a value increase over the just a plastic surround. So great question. I love that. Taryn? Not Taryn, Quinn. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I know. In my head, I'm so. Oh, I know.
So just curious, when you're running your projects, how just comparing to how much time I have to sit and spare to be at a project, are you there every day?
All right, great question.
Are you there every day?
The question is, when you run projects, are you there every day? And the answer is, it depends. But most of the time, I'm really there like probably every 3 days maybe. I'm there every few days just to go check in on stuff. Like I like going and getting eyes on it. I've had that. My biggest issue on the jobs is I guys, like when the academy first started, I really dropped the ball on my real estate business. I had bought, like I was in a decent spot, before I had my stuff. I was hanging out. I remember like COVID hit. I had all this money, and I'm just like, because I wasn't doing any houses. Like nobody was doing anything. Nobody was going to happen. And then and also refi some stuff. And then the academy hit, and then I started buying stuff. Then I bought that one, or I told you a story about that I wasn't going to buy that Chris Lynn had. Then I bought the Chopstick house, and I bought the house next to my office. Then I bought like 5 houses because I'm like, this will make great content. I'm just going to do all these at the same time. Like this will be great for that internet thing that Nate's doing. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what it is, right? So go and have an academy. I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't know. And I really didn't understand how much time it was going to take away from actually like doing my real estate like I would normally do. And I didn't check in on my properties as much as I should. And things weren't getting done, and the jobs weren't getting pushed, and things were sitting, and it was a disaster. It was a huge mess. So a big part of it is like we got to inspect what we expect, and no matter like how much we trust our guys and whatever we have going on, you got to get eyes on it. You got to check in every few days. I mean, my out of area people, like I remember talking to Jennifer about this, like getting people over to go just do random drop-bys, paying somebody $50, $100. You can get people like on TaskRabbit or just on like I have a big thing on like when you're hiring contractors. One of my job postings is I have a clever name for it, but I can't remember what it is. But it's basically like I think it's like a property scout, and part of a property scout's job is to get photos of the property. So I could get my property scout to pay him like $50 to go drive by and just do like a thing, take some videos and photos of it. But you got to get eyes on it every few days. Just depends on. Of what?
For being on the property for a certain amount of hours, the IRS looks at that.
Oh, to make you a real estate professional? Yeah. So that's a great point too. And some of this too is basically there's a certain amount of hours to be a real estate professional, which opens up a whole another tax code. Is it 250 hours? Is it 700? I can't remember. How much? 750. Somebody just asked ChatGPT. 750. All right, cool. All right, let me. We're almost done. Let me finish through this real quick, and then we'll get the panel cooking. All right. So now, finish work. This is like where it's fun, guys. This is exciting. Now we bring back in our electrician, our plumber, our HVAC. This is where they put the faucets on, the lights on, the fans on, the finish work, like that finish work that needs to get done to call it a day, so we can pass that final inspection. We get this finished work, and then we also, when our cabinets are in, we also want to order our stone, our granite, our quartz, whatever we're putting in. We want to get that ordered at this point and get that there. And then the very last thing that I'll do is put my flooring in. So I'll put my flooring in at the very end, and so typically I'll have an idea of what my flooring is going to be, like earlier on in the project. So I'll give my guys doing the baseboard, I'll show them the flooring that I'm doing. So then they can leave that little bit of gap in between the baseboard so they can slide the flooring underneath during this phase. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So then we just have to put quarter round around it. And quarter round's that like little half moon shape of molding that you see on floors sometimes. Do I want quarter round everywhere? Not really. Am I going to lose sleep if there's quarter round at one of my rental properties? I'll probably forget about it until I go look at it again in 2 or 3 years when the tenant moves out. And like the thing is like most of this stuff isn't as big of a deal as people think it is. But what is a big deal is getting burned and ripped off by contractors, paying for work that's not done, not getting eyes on your property, and not really understanding the basic fundamentals of these phases of the rehabs, because these phases just make something that seems so intimidating really just bite-sized chunks that you guys can digest. And again, not all the rehabs are going to need all of these phases. You might buy a house that's a cosmetic flip, where all you're doing is updating kitchen, maybe just the kitchen and bathrooms, and then painting and flooring, and you're done. Like there might not be a drywall phase, there might not be a tile phase, but just hop in where you need to, the framework is still the exact same no matter where you're at during any of these phases. All right, last and not least, why does anybody feel like the punch out phase is like the last little bit takes longer than the entire project sometimes? I'm at the punch out. Oh, how's it going? Oh, it's been 5 weeks. It's like that last little 3% is just takes forever, and you just want to bang your head against the wall. You're just want to get it done. Punch out. The cabinet shelves, clean the drawers. I want to clean everything. I want to make sure the smoke alarms are working, CO2, well, all that kind of stuff. I want to just do a deep final cleaning. I want to make sure the windows go up and down like they're supposed to. Still, obviously you want to test that earlier, but still, you want to look at all the things the contractors broke along the way, like the window screens and whatever else. So we want to just get it all done, whatever needs to be done. The end. Any questions? Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, it was funny because I was talking to Chris Long yesterday, and he was working at his house. He's like, I'm just doing punch out, and he's at the one house. And I'm like, still? He's like, yeah, I know. So I'm still doing it. I'm like, but it's taking so long. He's like, it's that last little bit. I'm like, yeah, dude, I get it. Does this make sense? Does anybody have any questions about anything that anybody held any of this stuff back or anything? Does anybody else have any questions? No, I'm just kidding.
So, what simultaneous jobs can be done once the drywall priming is done? Or drywall is put on?
Are you asking for your house? I like that. No. I would still follow the phases. I'd still run the orders. Once the drywall's up, make sure the tile's getting in, and then they could be working on the trim. They could be working on. No. I would just follow the phases and just.
After finish one by one?
No, if you're guys and you don't want too many people in a house to the point where they're tripping over each other and it's just a mess. That's just counterproductive. But I should have a summary here so you can do that. But basically after the drywall is up, you hang, you finish. We do the trim. So they could be working on the trim, they could be painting, they could be setting cabinets. They could really be doing the entire thing except the finish work at that point. If your guys can all get along with each other and do it.
And the other aspect that the electrical guys in all the finish trades are typically, I've observed, is 2 weeks booked. So,
Well, you got to let them know ahead of time. That's why when you get to the drywall phase, you're like, hey, I'm getting close. Can you put me on your calendar for this day or whatever? You got to give them a heads up. Yeah, guys, that's a really good point too. I should add to this. Is whenever we're working our way through the phases, I want to let the next set of people that are on deck, that are up next, know, hey, you're up next. I'm going to be ready for you on this day. Because if you try to call your electrician, you're like, I'm ready for all the finish work. Cool, when? Tomorrow. They're going to be like, Jarius, I've got 7 other jobs. Why didn't you tell me a week ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever? So always let the next person know, or the next set of players know. So great call out, AK. I messed that up. I definitely need to add that. Brandon?
So you mentioned about appreciation, and really you just want to add stuff that's going to build up the appreciation, right? And I get it, it's obvious stuff stainless steel appliances, but one is too much, right? And what's a good rubric to kind of follow here? What should we putting money in? When you're getting a little too much?
So great question. So this is why I love. This is where I love the framework of first-time homebuyer thing. So this is in my head when I think of a first-time homebuyer. This is the process that I think of. I think that you get people that rent, right? That start out just renting, right? You rent, you work, you save, you save your money, and you're like, cool. I am done renting. I'm done renting. I want to buy a house now. I want to stop throwing my money away. I want to buy a house. I want to get a nice house. So what's a nice house? Well, a nice house, is maybe a house that's in a safe house, a house in a decent neighborhood. Maybe they're thinking about school districts now. They're ready to move in, start thinking about that part of their life. Nice kitchen, granite countertops, maybe a nice backsplash, stainless steel appliances, just a nice first-time homebuyer house with nice finishes. Now, when I say nice finishes, I'm not thinking builder grade finishes. So if you guys want to think builder grade, just think the cheapest of the cheap. project source cabinets, or think like just like the cheapest thing, like the cheap faucets, the cheap vanities. Like, we can look at builder grade stuff later, but just like really cheap things are builder grade. We don't ever want to use anything builder grade. We want to go a level above builder grade. That's the arena I want to play in. I don't want to go. I like at my house, for example. This is so stupid, but I bought a $1,500 pot filler and a $900 faucet, and I didn't even know those existed until this designer showed them to us. And they're called Brizzo. And Brizzo, so Delta owns Pfizer, a Pfizer brand. They own Delta, and then they own a brand above that called Brizzo. And Brizzo's like super nice. Like, and I was like, and guys, I'm the Amazon guy. Like, I love Amazon for lots of my finishes, and in my house, I still use Amazon for many of them. And I was like, I really like that pot filler and that combo. So like, I'm gonna put that in that house. Like, well, my house is over $1 million. My house is like $1.2 million. Like, I'm not gonna put that in a house that's $300,000. That doesn't make any sense. And also, it's my house, so like, why not? But honestly, I'd still use that $40 faucet. I think that looks fine. If I had not seen that, I probably would have just put that $40 faucet in my own house, because I really don't care. But either way, but whatever. But to answer your question is like, so these tenants, or these people, these renters live in this house, or this apartment. They save their money. They want to buy this house. They want to buy a nice house that's safe and whatnot. So then they go and they buy their first time house. Now, I just want to live in that arena that's just like nicer than builder grade, but it's not like the next level up. And now what happens on the next level is, once these first time home buyers have bought their first home, they came in not knowing what to expect when they bought a home. They didn't know that how much a yard that is sloped would bother them. They didn't know how much the bathroom in a certain location would annoy them. They didn't know that the neighbor's house over here meant this. They didn't know that fill in the blank. They didn't know how bad traffic was. They didn't know you name it, right? They didn't know that because, yeah, they didn't know there was no shower, right? Or no tub. They didn't know that. They just were thinking, man, I'm done throwing money away. I want to buy a house. Like, let me just go get a house. That's what they were thinking, right? So now there's this jump from first-time home buyer that's just grateful they're a first-time home buyer to now buying their second home. And maybe they're like, my forever home, my next home. Now, they had saved some money. They built some equity. So now their budget goes from $200,000 to $400,000, or whatever, $500,000, whatever it is. And now they have this list. Now their desire, now like what they're thinking isn't, man, I just want to get done renting. I don't want to rent anymore and throw my money away. I want to buy a house that I love. And I can tell you everything I hate about my house that they own already. So that list now, when they go in for that next house, is like, it's got to be on a cul-de-sac. It's got to be quiet. It's got to have an ensuite. It's got to have a big shower. It's got to have a big closet. And they come in and they are just like Terminator, like destroying everything about every house they see, because they have to have the one. Like, they deserve the one. I don't deserve to not have a microwave in my cabinet. I need this. And it's like, holy smokes. Like, those kind of people, you can just I remember I flipped a house, and I wish I would have kept this. It was a 2-family I bought in Hyde Park in Cincinnati, a super nice area. And I converted it to a single family on a street where they were building brand new houses. And I flipped it, and if I would have kept it as a 2-family, man, that would have been an awesome BRRRR. But I didn't. I sold it. And selling that house for $600,000 or $500,000, whatever it was it taught me how different those buyers at that price point were about everything. They hated everything about this house that I did at this other house, but I did change some things like that I thought were a little bit nicer. They weren't nice enough. They were just terrible. They are like, I hate the color of your siding, and I hate the spigot to the exterior hose is on the driveway side. I'm like, yeah. Do you want me to move it? Like, we can like negotiate this or whatever. But to answer your question, if I haven't already, or if I ever am ever going to get to the point of this, is basically like, everybody's different. It's all a little bit different along the way up, but you want to just understand that you don't want to over improve it past like that first time home buyer mark of kind of like look at any of my houses. If you want to do anything different than any of my houses, don't, or message me and then let me know if you plan on doing it, and I'll approve the change or not. But the best way to force the appreciation isn't by fancier, more expensive finishes. It's by adding the right bathroom. It's by taking that 1,000 square foot 2-bed, 1 bath, and then turning it into that 1,000 square foot 3-bed, 1.5 bath. Like, the calls we did with Vito on the houses they just bought Anybody watching those coaching calls with Vito's place about the floor plan? Like changing that floor plan around and messing in the one community and the one other group, the school group, like I did a series of calls. I did these calls for like 5 weeks straight, I feel like, where people kept bringing floor plans. I was like, awesome. I love the floor plans ones. And I'm like, oh, these are my favorite. And then they kind of just stopped, which is okay. But we'll get back to them if people bring them. But there's so much people can do within the footprint of a house. Like if I see a house that's 4 bed, 1 bath, in my head, I'm like, dude, that's a 3-2 all day. That's a 3 bedroom with an ensuite. I'm raising that value. There's just so many different plays you can do with them and what you can do to force that appreciation that is not jeopardizing or over improving the finishes of the property. Does that help, Brandon?
Yeah, like I followed your guy on school actually, and I went after the easy wins, like the door handles, right?
Right.
Like 10 pack was like $100.
Yeah.
It really like brings out the place, as opposed to like, I was thinking about switching out the doors, but I just painted. So like,
Right.
Like you said, like just go after the low hanging fruit where you can get the most out of it, and then depending on the type of renter buyer or whatever. So yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All my panel people are gone except Mike. Matt? All right, well, we're going to do a panel next. After this, guys, we'll do more questions. Then after the panel, we're gonna go like network and hang out. Is that cool? Do whatever you want, man. Question? All right, get Trina in here too. We're going to bring them in here in a second. All right, everybody, one moment. What? No. All right, hold on. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Is that where you start to look for your
Yeah, always. So the first time I ever look at a property, I always have my lens of just like, what can I do? What can I do to increase the value of that property? And it starts with the very first thing before I ever close on it. And here's the thing is like, when you guys build out your North Star and you build out your buy box and you build this stuff out, you're going to find the neighborhoods that you're going to buy in, all the houses are going to be pretty similar. They're all going to have lead and they're all going to have asbestos. They're all going to be old and they're all going to be crappy, right? No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. No, but they're all going to have that kind of like, there's going to be some kind of quirk about that area that you're going to invest in. And that quirk that other people are like, ugh, no way. I'm never doing that, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm running to it. Just like the bottle example earlier. Did I put this right here? Like, just like the bottle. Like, this is just a sparkling bottle of water. This is only worth $1, right? Until I force the appreciation. So, does that make sense, guys?